Hey, what's going on guys? This is AndrewChicken and welcome back to another video. There are plenty of difficult champions and paladins that can be extremely rewarding to master. I've already gone over the most challenging of the bunch in my last top 5 video, but today I'll be going over the complete opposite of those difficult champions, and taking a look at the top 5 easiest champions in paladins. Whether you're someone who's just looking for a simple champion to relax with, or a new player who's looking for an easy entry-level character into a certain class, these champions are perfect for you, being some of the easiest, most accessible characters out there. These champions are also super effective, while requiring minimal skill to do well with them. Just like with my last list, I'll be including at least one champion from each class, so no matter what class you need an easy champion for, there will be one on this list. But without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Number 5. Lex. And in the number 5 spot we have Lex, one of the easiest and strongest flank champions in the game. Lex has always been one of the easiest champions to play, with a simple hit scan primary fire, horizontal dashes on a short cooldown, auto aim, and an ability that lets him see enemies through walls. However, with all the buffs he's gotten in recent updates, he's only gotten easier. The most recent change he got made his default fire mode fully automatic, meaning you no longer have to spam click in order to quickly do damage. This makes it considerably easier to aim with him, although you still have to watch out for his high recoil. Last year, Lex also got the ability to slide while in the air, enabling him to save himself from knockbacks and void grips, and also slide to a whole bunch of new places that he previously couldn't manage. Lex also has some ridiculously powerful cards on top of his simple base kit. The Hunted is a card which gives him up to 50% lifesteal against his retribution target, which is insane given how high his DPS is. This card gets even crazier when you use the talent Discovery, which causes him to deal 30% additional damage to his retribution target. If you're able to fight your retribution target with this talent and card combination, you can deal around 1600 damage per second if you're not hitting headshots, which equates to 800 healing per second from the Hunted. This is also ignoring the fact that he can get some other buffs from his loadout too, like more movement speed, additional ammo when activating his abilities, and some free kill to heal when finishing his retribution target. Lex does have some drawbacks which keep him from placing higher on this list. While his loadout cards are insane, he doesn't have much in the way of blocking damage. Other flanks like Zin, Androxus, and Moji have certain abilities that can block or prevent damage, keeping them alive in tight situations. Lex has none of this. On top of that, he has no vertical mobility, meaning that on maps like Serpent Beach, he struggles a bit more than other flanks who can effortlessly chase down targets who scurry away in those high-up platforms. However, neither of these drawbacks fully stop him from being an extremely powerful and effective flanker who is incredibly easy to pick up and do well with, which is why Lex earns the number 5 spot on this list. Number 4. Fernando. Fernando is by far the easiest champion in the frontline class. He's got a lot of health, a fantastic shield, a weapon that's almost impossible to miss with, and one of the simplest movement abilities in the game. He's a solid point tank, and can also be an off tank if you need him to be. While he's not as spectacular as some of the other tanks in the game, he's just reliable, dependable, and super easy. Fernando's most popular talent right now is Aegis, which lowers the cooldown of his shield by 4 seconds and makes its duration infinite, which makes it the ideal talent for point tanking and protecting teammates alike. When you combine it with the card Towering Barrier, you can reduce the cooldown of his shield to just 4 seconds, which is really effective. His shield is super simple to use, since you just point it in the direction of whatever damage you're trying to block, and it blocks it. It's big and works well for protecting just about anyone. And if you feel that your movement speed is too slow or you're not getting healed enough while your shield is up, there are cards to fix that too. The only really complicated thing about Fernando is the timing on his ultimate. Sometimes it can be really hard to know when to use the ultimate, and if you use it when none of your teammates are around, you're only delaying your own death. However, once you realize that it's best used when multiple teammates are around and there's some big damage incoming like a Sky Bomb or Drogo's ult, using Fernando's ultimate becomes second nature. Other than that, there's not really much to say about this champion. If you're looking for an easy tank to get familiar with the frontline role, I can't recommend Fernando highly enough, and this is why Fernando earns the number 4 spot on this list. Number 3. Tyra. Now, there are 3 different damage champions that are all rather similar to each other: Victor, Vivian, and Tyra. All 3 have easy-to-use automatic rifles and super simple kits that don't take much to master. However, the reason Tyra makes it onto this list is because she is one of the best champions in the game right now, since she's so tough to flank and can melt tanks in mere seconds. Out of all the 3 simple gunner champions, Tyra is by far the strongest. Her primary fire is really straightforward, just an easy-to-use rifle that you point and shoot. What makes her rifle distinct is that it has some passive lifesteal to it, meaning that when you shoot an enemy, you'll heal yourself for a tiny portion of that damage, even without buying life rip. This is really nice, and makes it so you don't have to worry as much about buying sustain items right off the bat. She can also reveal enemies with her mark, which also causes the affected enemy to take additional damage from her rifle. It's really straightforward and really easy to use. The real bread and butter of her kit lies in her Firebomb and Grenade, or grenades if you run her most popular talent, Mercy Kill. Firebomb does percent-based damage, meaning that it does significantly more damage to tanks than it does to other damaged champions and flanks. When you combine her Firebomb damage with her rifle, you can seriously shred just about any tank in the game. Her grenades with the talent Mercy Kill also give her some nice burst options for engaging and finishing off a target, but they also make her incredibly hard to kill due to the card In the Fray, which grants her up to 20% damage reduction per grenade. This effect stacks, so if you shoot 2 grenades back to back, you'll get 40% damage reduction for a brief period of time, with a tiny bit of diminishing returns. If you're not running In the Fray in your Mercy Kill build at level 5, you're doing it wrong. This card is insanely valuable, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets nerfed sometime after this video is published. If you're watching this video after it's been nerfed, let me know in the comments down below. And if it got a buff sometime after this video, someone at Evil Mojo is probably insane. But anyways, Tyra also has another really helpful card that makes her even stronger, Primal Might. This card reduces all of her active cooldowns after getting an elimination, which is different to a lot of cards that other damage and flank champions have. Several of these champions like Buck, Eevee, and Bomb King all have similar cards, but they have to secure a killing blow to get the cooldown reduction. All Tyra has to do is at least get an assist, which makes this cooldown reduction card way more lenient than other similar cards. When you combine this with In the Fray on the Mercy Kill build, you become a tank-shredding, flank-squashing machine that's practically unstoppable. And all of this isn't really that hard to pull off. Just throw fire at the tanks, reveal the flanks, and shred them all with your rifle and grenades. She's super easy, super powerful, and absolutely deserves the number 3 spot on this list. Number 2. Xin. And in the number 2 spot we have Xin, the easiest and safest flank to play. Xin is like a cockroach. No matter what you do, he's incredibly tough to kill. Xin has 3 different ways to avoid damage. He can press counter to deflect almost any damage in front of him, including bombs, bullets, snakes, and more. He can use Billow to become completely untargetable, cleansing all negative effects like Cauterize, or he can just whirl away behind cover. If you've got good reactions, you can be extremely hard to kill while playing this champion, and he also does some decent damage too with his massive projectiles that are hard to miss. And with the talent Guillotine, he can execute just about any character extremely quickly using his ult. If you use it at the right time when you're not at too much risk of being killed, you can quickly and effortlessly take out tanks that would otherwise take much more effort to kill. This is a powerful ability to have, and it's as simple to use as just pressing E while looking at a target. The only problem that Xin has is one of the same problems that Lex has. He has no vertical mobility. Well, he has no vertical mobility unless you use your ultimate to reach a high up platform. While this is technically vertical mobility, it's not very reliable. This is his only problem, but other than that, he's a strong flank with good damage, amazing survivability, and he's incredibly easy to get fantastic value out of. All this earns Xin the number 2 spot on this list. Real quick before we get into the number 1 spot, let's talk about Genos. Genos is by far one of the easiest champions to play mechanically, since he's got an easy auto-aim heal that can go through walls, a simple weapon similar to Tyra's but even more accurate, third-person mode in the form of his basic movement ability, and a void grip that takes almost no effort to aim. He's also incredibly valuable for his damage boost in the form of Luminary. This is by far the easiest healer to play if you're looking at kits alone, but the problem with Genos is his exceptionally low healing output. While his heals are the most reliable in the game because they're so easy to hit on a target and last for at least 10 seconds, they lack the burst healing that many other healers have to save teammates in those crucial moments when they're taking lots of fire from various sources. If you don't have teammates that can capitalize on your Luminary buff, you can't really do much else to help your team besides your minuscule healing. As Genos, if you put a mark on someone who's already marked, it only refreshes the duration and gives them another 300 burst, but other than that, you're not really giving them any more healing. Compared to other simple healers like Ceres or Furia, Genos lacks the capability to quickly restore someone's health, and doesn't heal tanks very well at all. So if you're a newer player who's trying to learn an effective healer while playing amongst other new players, you might be better off picking another less simple, but far burstier champion. Which brings us to our number 1 spot, Ceres. Ceres has a kit that is just barely more difficult than Genos, but she's still by far one of the easiest champions to get some strong healing out of. She has a channeled auto-aim ability that requires you to have line of sight with your teammate to initially cast it, but once you're locked on, you can quickly dart behind cover if you need to. She gives roughly 1000 healing per second without Mortal Reach, which is the talent that gives her even more healing on Restore Soul. This is some solid burst healing that is really easy to use, letting you effortlessly keep teammates alive most of the time. Her movement ability is also really easy and super effective. If you use the card Veil at a high enough level, you can enter Shadow Travel almost instantly, where you'll be invisible, invincible, and untargetable by crowd control effects and other debuffs for 4 whole seconds. This lets you reposition and quickly get out of dodge in most cases, although you'll still have to remain wary of people that can still track you by using reveals or the item Illuminate. Her ultimate is also really powerful. When Seris ults, she throws out an orb that will draw in all nearby enemies soon after it hits the ground, as long as the enemies aren't hiding behind shields or walls. This is a super effective tool when you combine it with an ult like Victor's or Bomb King's, and there are countless examples of a Seris ult leading to a massive multi-kill or team wipe. The only really hard thing about Seris is her projectiles, which are extremely slow and hard to track on fast-moving targets. However, half the time, you're not even worried about shooting anyways due to her channeled heal, and the rest of the time, you can just spam them out at the point and hope they hit. Damage isn't really your priority with Seris unless you're using one of her damage builds, so her projectiles being hard to hit just isn't that big of a deal. What makes Seris such a fantastic entry into the support class and one of the easiest champions in the game are her simple yet powerful heals, fantastic movement ability, and easy to use ult that can turn the tide of a match. You don't really have to do much to play Seris well, just time your ults properly and heal your teammates as frequently as you can. That's why I think Seris is deserving of the title of the easiest champion in Paladins. But anyways, that's going to be the end of the video. What do you guys think of my list? Do you agree with the champions I've put on here, or do you think another champion deserves to be considered one of the easiest champions in the realm? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and while you're there, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this from me. Also check out the Discord server linked in the description. We have a wonderful community with a bunch of active people who play Paladins, Overwatch, and more. I also stream regularly on Twitch, so make sure to follow me there for some fun and exciting streams. Lastly, I want to give a huge shout out to the members of the channel for helping to support my content. If you want to support the channel and gain access to some fun emojis and an exclusive role in the Discord server, then just click the join button right next to the subscribe button. It's cheap, and it helps out a lot. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.